Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be continuing our coverage of Golden Sun, playing up until we complete the events at the Mercury Lighthouse. But before we get started, how was every week?
Oh my god, I'm so tired. My week, I've had to do a lot more work at work than I usually do, and my work is very physically demanding. So I'm tired. And
that is
so
understandable, and I'm sorry to hear it.
I haven't really been doing anything when I get off work. I just sit and be tired. However, I did play Golden Sun, and it was very fun, except for one small part that I hated, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so just like you, Bernard, I have had a lot of extra work at my job, and I have been creating several different apps for the various users in my organization to use. And one of the ones I've been working on, I just found out, basically there are like 3 to 5 people who might get laid off if we don't get a certain round of funding, and our proposal is due in like 3 days. And to make the proposal, they need to get the data, and to get the data, my thing has to be done. So I kind of am responsible for multiple people remaining to be employed, and that's stressful. So I've been working hard so that I don't let people down at work, and everything else has kind of fallen by the wayside, and that's not cool. But you know what is cool? Shouts to Technology Connections on YouTube. They did a video recently about dishwashers, and it's a very good video, and you should watch all of it. But the long and short of it is your dishwasher is really good at washing dishes, but we're really bad at using dishwashers. So don't buy the dishwasher pods, because they don't let you do any pre-wash, and the pre-wash is super important. And also, you should run the hot water on your tap until it gets extremely hot, and then start your dishwasher. And if you do both of those things, so you use some powder for the pre-wash, and you run the hot water, it cleans like so much better, like caked on like burnt shit in pans comes off type shit. It's amazing. And I hate doing the dishes, because I have always hated dishwashers because they don't get things clean properly. So I would have to basically half wash everything by hand and then put it in the dishwasher. And turns out I don't have to do that anymore. And it's been life-changing to just throw everything in there and then do the 2 tricks, and then my dishes come out clean, and it's magic.
That's awesome. I actually knew the bit about the not using the pods. I did not know the bit about running the hot water ahead of time. I will inform my household of that, because especially ever since I got a job, using a dishwasher is a lot more important, because I flat out just do not have the time to be doing the dishes I was before.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
a low
very,
spoons
very cool.
household.
I feel ya. I purposely, when I moved, only bought enough dishes to fill one load in the dishwasher, so that my dishes would never be too much. And I have since had to add a couple things, just like small bits I didn't think about when I was buying all my previous dishes. And so now I have like 1.25 loads of dishes, and it's too much, man. I can't do it. That last 0.25 sits in the sink for like 3 days.
So my week has been, I think, mostly good, but in general, my brain has been in a weird, like, state of wobbling between doing very good and very bad, and just swinging over the smallest, most nothing kind of shit. Like, today I will be having a great day at work, and then my supervisor will my supervisor will just say something in a certain tone or phrase something in a certain way, and I'm like, oh, I should just throw myself down the stairs, I guess. And it's like, no, brain, no, that's not the right way to respond to these situations, but it's where my brain go. It's where it falls immediately. Um, but I've had otherwise a good day. Me and my girlfriend just watched the season 2 finale of Amphibia together, which was great.
Nice.
One of my favorite season finales of any TV show of all time. It's fucking incredible. I also had a good thing happen in the sense of like nothing happened. I do this thing. I don't know if either of you do this. Do you ever do the thing where you know something is really important and has to be done, but it's terrifying, and so like you can only handle like one of those things in a span of time, and so the others just sit on the back burner a little bit, stressing you whenever that you're reminded they exist? Because that's how I work, and I got to one finally, which is oh, I have a surgery date, by the way. I'm not going to say it on air,
Hey.
but I have a surgery date for my bottom surgery. I'm really excited about it. But
Hell yeah.
getting that as part of the phone call, they're like, "Hey, also apparently you mentioned to the provider like you might end up changing your health insurance possibly. Please find out about that soon, and if you do, tell us." And I was like, "Oh yeah, because I haven't told. I get my health insurance from the state, and I hadn't told them that I'd gotten a job and been making money, and therefore might not qualify for the really nice, you know, health insurance I was getting for being poor." And the problem, and I was really worried and stressed about doing this and reporting this to them because if I do lose this health insurance, my basically only other option is the one I get from my work, and that's a health savings account, which is not gonna fucking pay for bottom surgery
No,
or
definitely
much of
not.
anything. But I find, and also getting to the point where I could do that was hard because it's like they ask you for the like how much are you making before tax, but take into account but take out the money that you put into like retirement and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I need my pay stubs, but I get direct deposit, and the only way to get the pay stubs is to go through the labyrinthian system that the municipal government uses for this, which is so glitchy. It is constantly screwing you over. I hate it. It took so much back and forth with accounting to be able to log into this fucking system so I can get my pay stubs, so I can tell the government how much money I'm making. All for them to be like, yeah, it seems like yours fine. You can stay on what you have. Which is what I wanted to hear, but like, God.
Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah, I also had a fairly frustrating related thing that happened to me recently, which we can talk about in the post show. Because right now I'm chomping at the bit to talk about Golden Sun. So let's do it.
See, I was going to use mind read, so I could have figured that out without you saying it.
It's champing at the bit.
You should look up what the definition of champ is.
Should I?
Yes, because it's chomp is what it means.
Champing, this is the original spelling and verb, which means to chew or grind noisily.
That's true. That's not chomp.
That is chomp. That's literally chomp. What are you talking about?
It's champing at the bit is the phrase.
I know, but
jaw comes together, teeth clack. That's a chomp. Take a bite out of something. Champing involves teeth grinding, which is different. It's a more specific word.
When you said I should look it up, I thought you were saying champing at the bit is like some sort of racist idiom or something.
No,
but no, it's just equestrianism.
Yes, but it is. They also mean the same thing. There is nuance, just like house and home are the same word, but they're different words. Champing and chomping have different nuance, but they both mean the same shit.
Bitch, I could correct you on so many idioms. I let so many slide.
I know, but chomping at the bit has become a thing. It doesn't matter that it was champing before. I will die on this hill. Chomping and champing
kill you
mean
on
the
this
same
hill.
thing. I know. That's why I will die, because I'm not good at this. I'm not prepared for this fight.
I fucking love being your co-host.
Let's talk about Golden Sun.
So, when we last left our heroes, they had left their hometown without any idea where to go. They just knew they needed to find Jenna and to something lighthouses, something Felix. And the first thing that they find on their journey is the fact that this game has cutscenes on the world map, which is super cool. And more games should do this. In fact, the long cast that this game was up against earlier this year also had cutscenes on the world map, and it's good. More games should do that. Anyways, the first cutscene is a tutorial on the Genie system in this game, which is complicated. But as I was thinking about it, trying to write these notes, I realized it's just Magic the Gathering. Each Genie is a magic card.
Oh, and Magic the Gathering is not complicated.
It's not, actually. It's pretty good. So each Genie is a magic card, and when it's not tapped, you can access its ongoing abilities in the form of new synergies and stat boosts. But you can also tap the card, which will disable those ongoing abilities, but unleash the Genie and activate its special ability, which is a special move that's different for each Genie. Doing so will then add a mana of that Genie's color to your party's mana pool, which then lets you summon creatures, all of which have a different mana cost to summon. There are 7 Genie of each color to unlock, and most of them will either be the reward for a hard puzzle or a hard boss battle, or frequently both. But just like with drugs, the first one is free, and Flint, the Venus Genie, joins us after giving us the tutorial.
And also, when you assign them to people, it can change their class, which changes their stats and what synergies they have available. It's crazy. They pack so many mechanics into this.
It's very, very cool.
They're also really cute.
Yes, they are.
As we head south, as it's the only way that we can go, we get our second world map cutscene of some rich guy named Hammett storming out of the town of Vault to the south. Yes, Vault and Vale are right next to each other. So is Ivan and Isaac. This game doesn't follow the screenwriting rule of name everybody different things. It's very confusing. But he's storming out of the town of Vault to the south, and he's taking his caravan with him, yapping on about how they can't stay in a place as dangerous as this, so they must head back to Calais. But the bridge to Calais is out, so they can't head back that way. Because see, when Mount Aleph erupted, when we took all the elemental stars last week, it spewed fiery synergy stones all over the world map, basically, including the town of Vault and the bridge to Calais. So it knocked out the bridge, and it was raining down in the town. Since he's unable to continue towards Calais, Hammond and his group head north to Lunpa, which his entourage seems very nervous about, but it's better to take the risk in Lunpa than to get smashed by falling rocks. As they leave, one of his entourage says that they are worried about leaving Ivan behind, but Hammond says that this was Ivan's fault that his rod got stolen, and besides, he'll be fine. He has all of those special powers. Intrigued by this Ivan and his special powers, Isaac and Garrett enter the town of Vault, where at the mayor's house we find Ivan, a youth a little younger than Isaac and Garrett, being only 15 while they are 17. Immediately, Ivan uses his special powers, which Isaac and Garrett recognize as synergy. But Ivan's synergy isn't to move stuff around telekinetically, it's to read people's minds. So for a good chunk of this section, Ivan is incredibly socially awkward and off-putting because he will just read their mind and respond to their thoughts instead of talking to them, and Garrett and Isaac have to tell him to cut that shit out. Ivan tells us that Master Hammett, the rich guy from earlier, had his rod stolen, and Ivan wants Isaac and Garrett to help him recover it, as he feels that he can trust them since they're also synergy adepts. So we go off through the town reading everyone's mind, eventually making our way to the top of the inn, where the suspicious shady people who say loudly that they definitely haven't stolen anything won't let the party approach them, so we can't get close enough to read their minds. Deciding that that's suspicious, the boys devise a way to corner them so Ivan can read their mind, where he learns that they definitely have stolen everything, and they hid it somewhere in this inn, so we just need to find it to retrieve the rod. Outside, the inn has a hole in its roof where a synergy stone from the eruption landed and burned a hole through it. The boys climb inside, and sure enough, the thieves have stashed all the stolen goods up here. The thieves follow the boys in and ask why they care about Hammett so much, since he's already dead meat, having gone to Lunpa, the home of Dodonpa, a vicious thief with no morals, carrying all of his rich man belongings with him that are definitely stolen at this point.
Can I just say, I love the way they named this shit. It is truly just, some people worry about how their fantasy names will sound. Not these writers. They have just pure confidence.
It's very good. Either way, the thieves can't leave any witnesses, so they have to kill us. But this is the first boss of the game, so they aren't hard, and we kick their butts. We call in the mayor, and they take the thieves into custody, and the head thief says that he won't forget this and will be sorry. Ivan says that he'll take the rod up to Loonpa and try and catch up with Hammett, and Garrett says that I guess we'll head out and try and find Felix. Ivan reads Isaac's mind to get caught up on the story thus far, and says that our mission is too important. He couldn't ask us to help him save Hammett from Loonpa. And this is a but thou mustn't. You aren't supposed to go to Loonpa. You aren't supposed to talk to every townsperson who talks about Loonpa and listen to all of the talk about Loonpa being where Hammett is going in all of the previous cutscenes. You're supposed to ignore all of that and just go east to Goma Cave, where when you get there, Isaac and Garrett can't get inside the cave because there's a tree stump in the way, and they can't use their synergy to move it because it's all tangled up in vines. But along comes Ivan, who uses his whirlwind synergy to blow the vines away, allowing the stump to be moved, and they can make it in. Ivan says that he wasn't able to get into Loompa, but he isn't here to ask for our help. Our mission has been weighing on his mind ever since he read ours, so he wants to join us. He says, "Are you trying to get to Bilibin through this cave? Then let's go." Which is the only second time in this game that you could read the word Bilibin, and the first time is only said once in an optional scene. So I didn't know that's where we were headed, but Isaac and Garrett did, apparently. The gang makes their way to the town of Bilibin, and right at the gates to the town, there's an oddly man-shaped tree by the entrance, and if you use Mind Read on it, it says, "Help me. Somebody." Ominous.
It's so fucked up.
So the gang goes around talking to the townspeople, and they all seem fairly worried about the situation in Kolyma, the nearby town. But if you read their minds, they're downright terrified of what happened in Kolyma could maybe happen to them. You gather that Lord McCoy, the mayor of this town, ordered a palace built for his wife, and they sourced their wood from the town of Kolyma, which is right outside of the aptly named Kolyma Forest. The people of Kolyma cut down some trees in the forest, and the forest spirits weren't happy about it, and they cursed the people of Kolyma, turning them into trees. The tree at the front of the town was someone from Kolyma, and he ran to Bilibin to warn everyone, and he barely made it to the front gate before the curse took him and turned him into a tree. So Lord McCoy ordered everyone to stop building the palace, which his wife is upset about because she's horrible. And so now he's looking for adventurers to go investigate the forest and try and break the curse. We're adventurers, so we volunteer to go and take a look at it, but all of the adventurers that have gone before have not returned. And so Lord McCoy is a little hesitant to ask such young kids for help, but then he decides that any adventurer is better than no adventurer. So he sets a key on the table in front of him. It's the key for the barricade between here and Kolyma. But Ivan is a little nervous, which reminds the McCoy that these are kids. And he says, "Actually, never mind." And he takes the key back. Can he send we lads off to the slaughter? He gets his guard to escort us out, and as we're leaving, the guard tells us that if we're creative, we might not need a key to get through the barricade. That's a quest hook if I ever heard one. So we head out of town to the barricade, and by barricade, I of course mean loose stacks of boxes that can easily be pushed out of the way, and we head onwards towards Kolyma.
Yeah, they talk about how the barricade was made in a hurry because shit got bad real fast and they were just trying to do something, and yeah, we can just use our synergy on a box.
So we head onwards towards Kolyma, and if we stop in the city, every single NPC is a tree. There's a tree behind the counter of the inn, tree behind the counter of the item shop, trees around the well in the city plaza. There's trees all over. So can't really do anything in town, so instead we head up to Kolyma Forest, where right as we enter, Ivan notices some sparkly stuff falling everywhere. We attempt to investigate it, but then we're suddenly forced to the ground by a strong energy. But before the sparkly stuff can then touch the party, a blue force field comes from each person and protects them from the sparkly stuff. Turns out that there are some times when synergy can happen even if you don't concentrate on it super hard. To quote Garrett, "It's like critical hits in battle. You can't control it, but it's there when we need it." So, critical hits aren't gameplay extractions in this world. Pissed that the sparkly stuff didn't turn us into trees, the spirits of the forest speak to us. One of the spirits, Tret, says even if we have weird protective powers, we won't be able to save Kolyma because he's the one who cursed the town, and as such, only he can break the curse, but he's dying, and if he dies, the people of Kolyma will never be able to turn back human. The other spirit, Laurel, who has a hot lady face, tells us that Tret used to be a kindly king of the forest, but ever since he started dying, his heart has been torn in two, and his wrathful side is the one who cursed Kolima, but she knows that his gentle side is deep in there somewhere. And she says that unless we can restore his gentle side, everyone will wither and die along with him. So we head off deeper into the forest, doing a bunch of really good log rolling puzzles, eventually making it to 2 giant Deku trees at its center. If you speak to Laurel, she says that we're already too late, but if you read her mind, she says that the waters of Mercury Lighthouse might be enough to save Tret, but those have long since dried up.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
If we speak to Tret, he says, "Hroom," and refuses to speak to us, even with his mind.
You made that sound like Richard Nixon head from Futurama, which is perfect.
Yes, absolutely. But even though he won't talk to us, thankfully he is a Deku tree, so there, of course, is a dungeon inside of him. We complete that dungeon, and deep in the heart of the tree, we find a second face for Tret. Turns out he did have good in him deep down. Psych, it's the mean one again, and he says that we stupidly came to the heart of his power, and now we have to boss fight him. We eventually defeat him, and then his good side comes back. He apologizes for being lost in his rage, but since we defeated the evil in him, now he can die in peace. Bye now. We're like, no, don't do that. You need to lift the curse first. And he tries, but he's plumb tuckered out, so he just can't do it anymore. So bye now. This is bad. He's definitely going to die and take everyone out with him unless we heal him somehow. Oh yeah, our surprise tool. It's going to help us out now. We got to go to Mercury Lighthouse, far to the north, and get some Hermes water so we can heal Tret. So we make our way through a cave with some conspicuous puzzle objects that we can't interact with yet because we don't have any freezing synergy. So we ignore them and head up to the other side where we reach the town of Emil. Everyone in Emil is sick as hell. Not sick as in radical, sick as in coughing a lot. Most of the grown-ups are flat out on their back and sick in bed. So the inn and the item shops are run by little kids because they're the only ones who can, and it's very cute. A really bad cold is tearing through town, and everyone that you talk to is like, this would be so much worse if we didn't have Mia, the talented healer girl whose hands glow with a blue light whenever she takes care of people. And we're like, people with weird powers? We're collecting people with weird powers. So we find Mia at her grandparents' place where she's healing her grandma and grandpa with her synergy. We attempt to introduce ourselves, but there's a bright light that flashes in the window. Mia says, "The lighthouse, it can't be. Only I can. Oh no. Alex," and runs off to the lighthouse. So we follow her. When we get there, there's a statue surrounded by little rocks set up in a square in front of it across a 1 square gap that Mia can't get by. So we use move and push it aside. She's like, "Where'd you get a giant ghost hand from?" And we're like, "Oh, you can see our synergy too." So, and she's like, "Oh, that's what it's called, yada, 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 etc." She says she is a member of the Mercury clan, and her power that she knows as Ply is needed to access the lighthouse. She thanks us for the help, but runs in without us. So we follow her. Inside, there's a lizard man blocking the path, so we step in to defeat it for her, and she doesn't even say thank you. She just continues farther in. So we follow her. And again, she's stymied by a heavy object with little white rocks on the ground around it. So we use move again. And Mia's like, "Why are you following me and solving all of my problems? Do you have business at the lighthouse?" She says that obviously she's shit at dungeons, so she should travel with us since we're doing everything anyways. And she joins the party. So we make our way through a really cool dungeon, all the way up to the top of the lighthouse where we are too late. The lighthouse is already lit. But how? It can only be lit if you have the Mercury star, which is safely stashed away in the Soul Sanctum at Mount Aleph. Isaac and Garrett are like, "Well, you see, about that." But then across the Airy, which is a word I learned today, which means the top of a lighthouse, across the Airy, it's Jenna and Felix and Minardi. Jenna is excited to see us and calls out to us, and Minardi is surprised that we're still alive. As we start to head over there, Satoru steps out from behind the big shiny ball thing, and he says that we might be alive, but we won't be for long. If we want to throw our lives away, he's happy to oblige us. Minardi takes the hostages and leaves, and Jenna protests a little bit, but Felix says that she should play along, quote, "for now." Satoros runs towards the party to engage us in battle, but the floating sphere of light thingy pulses, and Satoros stops and says that the sphere is weakening his synergy, but surely he still has enough to take us on, and he engages us. After we kick his ass, he's like, okay, maybe I don't have enough power to take y'all on. We ask him what he means by all of that, and he's like, I'm not telling. But then Alex appears, and he tells us what he means. Mia is like, oh my god, Alex, what have you done? And he's like, I helped you. The lighthouse granted you power during your battle with Saturos, because Alex and Mia are a part of the Mercury clan, which is aligned with water, and Saturos is a part of the Mars clan, which is aligned with fire. So the light of the lighthouse made Mia and Alex stronger and Saturos weaker. Saturos is like, aha, so it doesn't count. I lost to the lighthouse and not to you. So come on, Alex, let's go. Alex grabs Saturos and they teleport a short distance away and board the elevator.
I'm not owned.
So they teleport a short distance away to board the elevator going down. And in the part last week where Alex was there, but he didn't really do anything, and I skipped it over, he was teleporting all over the Soul Sanctum, which don't know why he didn't teleport and just grab the last star, but whatever. After we see him warp, Mia's like, what's up with that? And we're like, isn't that just his synergy? And she's like, Alex didn't have this power before. And Alex says, I can't stay the same Alex you knew forever, and then leaves. The party feels like failures because they had one job from the Wise One to stop the lighthouses from getting lit, and they couldn't even do that. But actually, if you think about it, they haven't failed yet. There are 3 more lighthouses, and we just have to stop them before they light them all. So they all go their separate ways, hide the Mars star, and prevent the bad guys from lighting the lighthouses, and the world is saved. Of course not. They're going to bring the key to the lock and hope it doesn't open, like every JRPG party does.
Of course!
Mia says that she'll join us so that we can stop Alex, and we're like, but what about all the sick people? But as we reach the bottom of the lighthouse, we see that the Fountain of Hermes flows with healing water again, so the town will be able to heal themselves without her, and besides, this is more important. Oh yeah, the Water of Hermes, we need that. So next week, we will take the Water of Hermes back to Tret and find out if we're too late to save the people of Kolyma, but for now, let's listen to some music and talk about our memorable moments.
It's so cool how when you're going through the lighthouse, Mia is constantly regenerating synergy points or whatever they're called. Mm-hmm. And you're like, did I equip something on her to do that? Mm-hmm. What? And then you get to the top of the lighthouse and Alex explains that mechanical thing was a story thing. I love it.
I love when that happens. So, Bernard, you didn't interrupt me and talk about the part you hated. Which of the various parts that were stupid did you hate this week?
Guess. I want to see if y'all can guess which part I hated.
I think it's the thieves at the top of the inn.
No, that was fine.
It's if it's not that one, would it be the thing with Loompa trying to go and get in?
Sort of. I did, because of the thing, I went all over the map and tried to get into Loompa several times. But what I hated was when you're going to the cave and there is the thing you can't move, I was going along and I was like, oh, that has a bunch of leaves on it. That visual language is clearly indicating my current synergy cannot affect that. Mm-hmm. So I must have to go a different way. So I turn around and leave. Oh. But in order to trigger the cutscene, you have to use move on it. Mm-hmm. So if you correctly parse the visual language mm-hmm. and don't try to waste your synergy points on moving that thing, then you get confused and don't know how to progress because the game hasn't been giving you extremely clear instructions on where to go and what to do at this point.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, oh, I must have just gone to the wrong place. And I don't know why it couldn't just be you walk up and Garrett tries to automatically steps out of Isaac and tries to move it. It's like, oh, I can't move it. Or Garrett steps out and is like, oh, there's leaves on that and leaves are super strong. and prevent us from moving things. What are we going to do?
They're super strong, but the wind can blow them away.
Yeah. So that was the part I hated.
I feel it. So we are now at this point farther than I've ever made it into Golden Sun, and the reason why I haven't ever made it farther than this is silly and stupid. So I've talked several times about how the MGBA port for the PSP isn't very good, and it crashes on Golden Sun in the Mercury Lighthouse, specifically getting the Jenny that's behind the waterfall. And so when I got there this time, I know that it has been literally like 15 years and all of the emulators are better, but I still saved in game before I talked to it. I save stated before I talked to it, and then I save stated in a new save state just in case before I talked to it to make sure that it didn't crash.
Did it crash?
It did not. No, it didn't even like act like anything was wrong.
Nice.
There are so many good NPCs this week. And by NPCs, I, of course, mean trees.
I was going to say, I kind of love these trees.
There's one who says, how could anyone turn a girl as beautiful as me into a tree? Actually, you know what? I'm pretty cute for a tree. There's a one tree that goes, well, if I can't move, then mom can't make me go to bed.
God, the writers of this game are really good.
And then if you go into the church to try and do some healing, and talk to the healer in there, he says, maybe if I meditate harder, I'll turn back into a man.
That's how, I mean, there are lots of schools of meditation. I don't know. Maybe that's what one of them sounds like. It's cool how in the towns where people aren't trees, you have two sets of NPC dialogue for reading minds and just talking. And I didn't take a screenshot of this, so I don't remember it exactly, but I love how when you walk up to McCoy's wife, McCoy, is that his name? Whatever.
Yes.
When you walk up to his wife and talk to her, she's immediately like, are you blaming me for everything that happened? And I'm like, wow, it sounds like you know that it's your fault if that's how you're starting this conversation with people you've never met.
And then if you read her mind, she goes, if the problem's with the great tree, just cut it down. And it's like, I think it might actually be your fault, man. If those are your innermost thoughts.
The dialogue in this game is so good. And then them giving us a party member whose whole thing is reading people's minds. I was like, oh, they know what they're good at. They were like, hello, we would like to write way more dialogue than we possibly could ever need to for every fucking place you go in this game.
Yeah. And they wonder why they didn't have enough room to put the whole game together and had to split it over two.
So, Sam, you had mentioned that you should turn on the color correction or whatever it's called in the emulator. And wow, it turns out you're right, because
yeah,
I did that. And I just put a side-by-side in the host chat.
Yeah.
It's quite a difference.
It looks incredibly good with the color correction on.
I mean, it looks good anyway, but with the color correction, it looks right.
I need to remember to do that.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Good graphics in this game.
Yeah, so I struggled a lot this week, and I realized the reason I was struggling a lot is because I was I was playing the game wrong, and like I knew that I was, but because of the Final Fantasy oneness of the battle system, you can't just spam A. But because I also had save issues, and by save issues I mean I realized that the emulator I was using was an accurate emulator and not a fast emulator, so I couldn't fast forward on my SP. So I started the game over. Now I could fast forward and also had a turbo button. So I was just holding down fast forward and turbo, zoom in through all the cutscenes I had already seen, zoom in through all of the fights. But then I kept doing that for all of my random battles. But that would mean first turn, Isaac would kill one, Garrett would defend, Ivan would defend, the other two would beat the shit out of my party, and then the second turn it would happen again. And so instead of finishing in one turn, especially if I was using Synergy, I would finish in like one move. I was dying a lot, and turns out you can't just mash A in this game. It doesn't
I had
work.
the same issue. And I specifically had the problem of running into. I'm sure you possibly did too. Is I didn't immediately figure out how to revive a dead party member in this game. Because I was having this issue right outside the main town, and I thought I was like not thinking in the Final Fantasy oneness of it. I was like, I can't remember if Dragon Quest also did this, but I did not immediately think, oh, I need to find a person to like whose entire job is reviving fallen party members. I just thought, oh, I need to go at the end, and if I sleep at the end, they'll be okay. And they were not okay. They were still dead.
Yeah, because your Camelot games all have Mario in it, and Mario games notably don't have any death. So you aren't used to this, but in all of the Shining games, it's a Dragon Quest where you have to go and pay per party member to bring them back alive.
But hey, it is also a Dragon Quest in the sense that if you wipe, it just takes you back to an end, and you don't lose any save progress.
Mm-hmm. That's
which is nice.
Good. I also don't think you lose any gold, or if you do, it's not a lot, because I remember one time this week dying, and then I was like, oh crap, I don't have enough health to or I don't have enough money to revive everyone if I just lost half of my money. But then I opened it, and I still had a shitload of money. So if it takes some, it's definitely not half like Dragon Quest does.
See, I just played the game, and I didn't have the problem of getting owned because I was just mashing through.
Yeah, well, I didn't either up until I needed to suddenly catch up.
Yeah, if I didn't have to start over, I wouldn't have been using Turbo like that, and to even have got into the habit. But I have since kicked the habit because I don't like dying. Dying is very difficult to overcome at this point of the game. Like while doing the Oris dungeon to get up to Tret, I would get like halfway through, and then Ivan would die, and I was like, okay, I'm going to push through, see how far I can make it, and not get very far. Get taken back to town, heal everybody up, try again. But now I'm just at the beginning of the dungeon again, and it's starting over. There's no like checkpoint or anything. Yes, I'm a little bit stronger, but not a bunch stronger. And so I just kept dying over and over again.
It sounds like you might have been going slower because you were using Turbo in the fights.
Yeah, and so I stopped doing that, and then I made it through Mercury Lighthouse in one go.
Nice.
Which is a much longer dungeon than Colima is.
It's weird how this game has these annoying overworld puzzle or dungeon puzzles, but they're not annoying. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're not as good as Lufia 2.
No,
but we can't hold things up to that standard.
Yeah, but they're like
they're
good
Gameboy
puzzles.
Advance, for Game Boy Advanced RPGs, they're very good puzzles.
Yeah, I don't mind them at all.
Yeah.
The curve is important.
And all of the gimmicks aren't stupid. Like in the one that we couldn't do because we didn't have Mia yet, there's like puddles of water on the ground that you can freeze, but there's also torches, and if you put a frozen ice block by the torch, it'll melt, and they do a lot of cool things with that. And your reward is a fire Jenny that's really good, and it's neat. Nothing is like, oh, you only can walk on each square one time, which ironically, that is one of the things in Tret, but it's different because it's jumping and not just walking across the Sutopolis gym from Pokemon. But yeah, it's good. I like this game.
So one thing I was looking at is, when you start the second game, you can transfer your data from the first game into the second game using a Game Boy Advance leak cable and 2 Game Boy Advance systems if you want to borrow your friend's Game Boy Advance. However, whether you're maybe if you're emulating, there's a way to do this, but at least like if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch Online, there's not a way to do that. But you can also do it with a password. There
Mhm.
are different tiers of password. In order to get all the data over, you have to do a 260 character password.
Oh
Fun.
my god.
I knew it was a really long password. I didn't know it was an entire unsigned integer.
Yeah, the 260 character password additionally fills up each original party member's inventory with all the same items they had by the end of the first game and preserves the amount of coins the party had amassed at that point. So if you really want that, you can go from the 61 character password to the 260 character password.
Jesus. It's like that's literally just typing out your entire save file.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm going to do it though. I'm going to hate doing it, but I'll do it. So I want to bring my save file over, and I don't
And
have.
I'm gonna try to find some weird emulator way to not do that, but if I have to, I will, I guess.
Yeah.
You can do a 16 character password which preserves each original party member's level and changed name. Their levels will be treated as 28 otherwise. How many of the original 28 gen were collected? Which of the first game's non-essential utility synergy items were collected? And which optional story events were completed in the first game, which unlock bonus events and rewards in the second? This is technically the only password needed to access every optional dungeon and cutscene. So you can get most of the important stuff with just 16 characters.
Man, old games are cool when they do shit like this. Like
Agreed.
it's annoying, and I don't want to do it, but this is absolutely the sort of shit that I did with Zelda, and I would have done with Golden Sun.
No, I mean, same. God, that's one of the reasons I love the Oracle games so much. Is this convoluted, weird bullshit. I
Mhm.
I it, so okay. I might. I'm tempted to do a weird rant. I
Okay.
I feel like, and this is a feeling I have specifically because of growing even more because of my work. I feel like over time, especially from the era when this game is made to now, with video games, but also just technology in general, there has been this extreme push for convenience over everything else, and trying to make experiences as smooth as possible, and yada yada yada. And I think that's bad, actually. And in a video
Yes.
game way, I think that's bad because I think it's just more interesting to have funk and weird shit. But in terms of like computers and tech, I hate having to help old people with their tech and the entire time be like, "No, I understand. I agree. This is bullshit. You should not have to do this. You should not have to jump through a billion hoops to use this app in a way that is meant to be easy and user friendly, but is just fucking not if you're not someone who keeps up on technology." And I just despise it.
One of the biggest challenges about one of the apps I'm building at work is uh, I work with all of the people that's going to use it. And if you know 100% of your user base, I can do things like making sure that the website looks good in high contrast mode from Windows, which requires a bunch of things that are different than dark mode, which is cool. But also, I know I have taken all of their IT tickets before, and I'm not going to make them put in a single IT ticket for this app if I can get away with it. And so I'm making so many like foolproof things to make sure that they can just do it. Like I have so they have to type in the client's social security number. I have it auto format it the way it's supposed to be. So no matter what they type in, it pulls out the digits and makes them look right, so they can't type it in stupid. If they type in too many numbers, it throws up an error and says this is too many numbers. And if they type in the social security number that already exists in the database, it's like you can't add in duplicates. Are you pressing the wrong buttons? And then it also does the same thing with email. So you can't add in the same email, and you can't put in an email without an @ sign and a dot after it. And all these things, which are just me putting in roadblocks to keep them from absolutely just typing in garbage and ruining all of the data.
I appreciate that you do that for your coworkers. It's very kind of you.
Yeah.
I just I like the jank. I like that this
Mhm.
game has the jank. It would be a worse
Yeah.
game if it was more polished, which is the most. It feels like the most pretentious fucking thing to say, but
Yeah,
I
but
also believe it fully.
yeah, as Rasputin on YouTube says, the best games are a little bit bad.
Mm-hmm.
And as insert credit says, 7 out of 10, perfect game.
Yes.
It's
Mm-hmm.
2025. We can be particular about this sort of thing. We can be snobby. We don't have to just accept extremely streamlined conceptions of mainstream media and functionality. We can say no, we like it when things are weird and different.
It's true.
Yeah, there's something I heard, and I can't put it together in the cute way, where if you sand off all of the rough edges, you also sand off all of the detail, and now it's just a blob. And so
I
you
like that a
try to keep
lot.
some red edges. Yeah, whoever
And-
said it better than me. So
It's weird that, and I know he's an assist trophy. It's weird that Isaac isn't in Smash. Come on.
yeah,
It's weird, yeah.
He has, like, you could do so much with Synergy.
yeah,
Like the big pushing hand, his Quake move that makes the ground go up in a funny way.
and like he could be a sword guy and he not use his sword. He has so much going on that he wouldn't need to be a sword guy. He could be the synergy guy, and his basic attack be pushing people, like with the E Honda. Is that the guy in Street Fighter? Does a bottom of the palm punch thing? Yeah, he could do like an E Honda with the move synergy, and that's his basic attack. It'd be fine. Man, Smash is cool. I wish I could ever play it.
Smash is cool.
What does that mean? What do you mean you could ever play it?
I have no in-person friends, and my children are sore losers. I can barely play Mario Kart with my kids, much less if I, on purpose and going towards them to hurt them in game. It's not going to happen for like another 5 years. So I will eventually have a take on Smash Ultimate, but I currently have still never played it.
I see. Yeah, I had the misfortune for a lot of years. I like Smash Bros. A lot, but I had the experience when I was like in college, and when Smash, both Smash 4 and Ultimate came out and all that kind of time, all the people I knew were very much, they're the kind of people who modded their Wiis to play Project M.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I am a brawl lover. I love the tripping. I love all items on high. Let's play on the WarioWare stage bullshit. Like, that's how I like my Mario. That's how I like it, like a game of Mario Party, effectively. Which is not how any of my friends like it. And so I had this just feeling of just like, yeah, no, I enjoyed Mario Party. Didn't get to play it a bunch because no one liked playing it with me. Or if I was playing it their way, I wasn't enjoying it very much.
It's kind of insane to me how Mario Party Smash Brothers is, and also how like high level Street Fighter Smash Brothers can be. It goes the whole gamut, and that's very cool. I'd love to play it one day. But I do think that will be it for the week. We haven't talked about Golden Sun in a hot minute. So,
yeah, I think you're right.
If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations help us offset the cost of running the show. If you decide to donate $1 more a month, you'll become one of our gadabouts and also get access to our bonus feed filled with after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show, such as Tales of Podcastia, The Escape Pod, and the JRPG Canon. If you up your donation to $5 or more each month, you can become one of our warriors and get your name read at the end of every episode, a little like this. Shoutouts to Dragon Slayer 19, Freddie Rodriguez, and JFro Prime. And then if you really, really love us and you want to donate $20 or more a month, you can get a short one-sentence shout-out or advert read at the end of each episode, a little like this. Shout-outs to Kildranus, who says to check out Podcasters Assemble. It is a documentary-style, crowdsourced movie hype and rewatch podcast. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise. And then shout-outs to Vimk, who says, Black my eyes and knock me dead, she said slowly, but your lady can go right to hell. And then shoutouts to It's Clear Time, who says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game, I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
Bernard.
I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.
And then shouts to Vimke, who says something from Gideon that I forgot to copy over.
Man, the sentences in this book keep getting weirder.